right, we're going to go ahead and talk about lessons 6. Let me see if I'm going to cover lesson 7 and that's it. Okay, 6 and 7. All right, so what these deal with are like unit pricing, okay? And if you watched my last video, I talked about unit rates, okay? That was like, how many things per one thing. 7 rabbits per cage, $5 per hour, okay? Unit rates can apply to anything, okay? Now we're going to start talking about unit price, which applies to money, okay? How much does it cost per pound of whatever, okay? So unit price, really the only difference is this is going to be money, and then this is going to be one of whatever it is that you're purchasing, okay? We use this all the time. I use it all the time when I go to the grocery store. I try to think about what's the best deal, okay? So let's just come up with a one, okay? Bob is going and he wants to buy gummy bears, okay? He goes to the store. He finds out it costs him $4 per pound of gummy bears, okay? So right off the bat, I've got my my rate table. So I'm going to go ahead. 1 pound is $4, okay? Boom, right there. That is my unit price. One and how much that is, okay? So unit price is right here, and then we're going to go ahead and we can fill in the rest. Okay, so if 1 pound is $4, how much is 2 going to be? Okay, well 2, add another 4, and remember a lot of times they'll have you have these little things off to the side. This is just showing, okay, what am I adding each time? What am I adding? When I add another pound, what am I going to add? Okay, I'm going to add that $4, okay? So 3 would be 12. So if I were filling this out, it would just be plus 4 each time. Plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. All right. Okay, so, yeah, this is plenty. All right, so let's stop. Oh, nope, it's gone. Sorry, my computer died. So I got my table, got my unit price, one item, how much that item costs, okay? Now, once you get this set up, you may be asked to graph it, okay? And this is where I think a lot of you got really confused on the pretest because you're like, what am I supposed to draw? Okay, so let's talk about how we're supposed to graph it. This involves a coordinate plane. Now, for your purposes in this book, you're only going to be using one quadrant, but normally when you see a coordinate plane, they look like this, okay? They have 4 quadrants. This is hard to do. This right here is quadrant 1. This one's 2, 3, and 4. It goes counterclockwise. So this is quadrant 1, which means both of your values are going to be positive, okay? So basically, this is my quadrant 1, okay? If it was like the bigger ones, you'd have then one over there, one over there, one over there. But this is quadrant 1, okay? So they want me to graph the situation, okay? So first, let's talk about what makes a coordinate plane, okay? I'll use this one. On a coordinate plane, you've got a line going horizontal, and then you've got a line going vertical, okay? A couple of vocabulary words that you need to remember for this. First of all, this is your coordinate plane, the whole thing, okay? This horizontal line, you can see the letter X. This is your X-axis, okay? That vertical line, you'll see the letter Y. This is your Y-axis, okay? Now, when you go to plot, you're going to be using what are called ordered pairs, and it's just a set of numbers. The first number is going to be your X. The second number is going to be your Y, okay? So that just tells you, and always remember, if you're not sure which one comes first, just remember, well, alphabetically, X does come before Y, so therefore your X should come before your Y when you plot that. All right, so let's talk about how we're going to do this. So we've got our coordinate plane here, and we've got this little table. We're going to turn this information into ordered pairs. Okay, so number of pounds. This is going to be my X. This is my input. How many pounds am I putting? How many pounds do I want? 2. Okay, so what's it going to cost? My output is $8. Okay, so this is always going to be your X, and this is always going to be your Y. Okay, so for the first thing, the ordered pair for this first situation would look like this. Okay. This is what an ordered pair looks like. It is your X, comma, followed by your y. Okay? X, y, and then you always put in parentheses. Okay? So this is my ordered pair for this first situation. Okay? My ordered pair for the second one, if I buy 2 pounds, it's going to be 2, 8. Okay? So all I'm doing is I'm taking this information, turning them to ordered pairs, and then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to graph it. Okay? Now, quick review as we look at this. This rate situation, is this a constant? Okay, if you remember, constant rate means it's increasing by the same amount each time. There's no fluctuation at all. Okay, so in this time it's increasing by 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. So in this case, it's a constant. Okay, which pretty much means because it's a constant, you're going to have a line that goes up at the same angle. The same angle each time. There's no like up, down, or anything like that. Okay, so let's go ahead. Remember, we've got my x-axis. Yeah, I can't see me. Move over here. I've got my x-axis right here going this way, and I've got my y-axis going this way. All right, so let's go ahead and graph this situation. Okay, so let's take my first order pair. Okay, so the x is 1. Okay, so right here, this is called the origin, which is basically the center of the, normally with this, the origin is like where they meet, that center. Okay, so in this case, since we've only got this one quadrant, this is your origin. It's basically the ordered pair for that would be 0, 0. Okay, so my x is 1. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to 1. Okay, my y is 4, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to put my little dot there. Boom. That dot represents that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and then plot the next one, 2, 8. Okay, now let's go over 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, I'm going to draw my little dot here. All right. I might have to add another one before I get another dot. All right, I think I got room for one more dot before we draw our line. All right, so the ordered pair, so for the next one, 3, 12, the ordered pair would be 3, 12. All right, let's go ahead and graph that. 3, and then I'm pretty sure that puts me way up here, 12. All right, so I've got 3 dots that I've graphed from that information. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and then the first one would be 0, 0, just because if I buy 0 pounds of gummy bears, it's going to cost me $0. So let's go ahead and then you may use a straight edge just to make the line nice and straight, but I'm going to do the best I can to connect these dots. There we go. Okay, so there we go. I drew a few dots. I drew my line. I have now graphed that situation. Okay, this is the rate information. Got my unit price. And then, and I should label this. So this, my x-axis, what does this represent? Okay, the 1, 2, 3 on there, what does that represent? Okay, it represents the number of pounds. So I should label number pounds. So if someone were looking at, they're like, well, what does this line mean? Okay, and then what does my y-axis represent on that table? Okay, the cost, right? Okay, so label that. Okay, so as the number of pounds increases, the cost increases, which makes sense. All right, so I have graphed that. Now you're going to hear, in your activities, they're going to want you to, they use the word unit rate triangle. Okay, it sounds weird, but really all it is think about, let's look at this point and this point, okay? If you were to go out right here, and you were up right here, I've made a triangle. Okay, can you see that? It goes out, goes up. And then if I were to go from this dot to this dot, it would go out, and it would go up. And if you look, these triangles should be identical. Because if you think about it, when you graph this, well, I went over 1 and went up 4. Okay, so, and then this one, well, I still went over 1 and I went up 4. Notice how I'm using that unit rate as basically what I move each time. Okay, I know we use those ordered pairs, but really it's moving up at the same rate each time. This right here is called, sorry, this is a new word for me, unit rate triangle. Okay, so if you hear reference to that, that's what they're talking about. It's just that little triangle that you move up by each time. Yeah. Okay, I think that should get you through these next two lessons, so good luck.